You've probably heard the term AI agent thrown around a lot lately. But what does that even mean? Well, today, we're going to break down the 5 key types of AI agents, from something as simple as a thermostat all the way up to a chess grandmaster.
I mean, it really feels that way, right? It seems like every single day there's some new mind-blowing announcement about an agent that can automate all of these complex tasks for us. But here's the thing, not all agents are created equal.
And that's really the big question we're tackling today. By the end of this, you're not just going to know the difference, you'll understand the entire ladder of AI intelligence, from the most basic reactions to truly complex learning.
So how do we tell them all apart? Well, AI agents are basically classified by their level of intelligence and how they make decisions. It really all boils down to 2 things: how they perceive the world around them and how they choose what to do about it.
So let's start at the very beginning, level 1. This is the foundation for everything that comes after. And at this level, it's all about living in the moment, reacting to what's right in front of you with maybe just a tiny hint of memory. Okay, so this is about as basic as it gets. Imagine an agent with literally 0 memory. It has no idea what happened a second ago, let alone yesterday. The past just doesn't exist for it. All it knows is what's happening right now. And it just follows a simple if this, then that rulebook. The way it works is super simple. It's this little loop. First, it senses something. Like the temperature in a room dropping. That triggers a rule it has programmed in. Something like, if the temperature is below 18 degrees, and bam, that leads to an action. Then turn on the heat. It's simple, it works, but it's also pretty limited. And the perfect example of this, the thermostat on your wall. Seriously, it doesn't care if it was freezing yesterday or if a heat wave is coming tomorrow. All it knows is it cold right now? If yes, heat on. That's a simple reflex agent in a nutshell.
But okay, what happens when you give that simple agent a memory? Well, that's where we get our first major level up in intelligence. We're moving from an agent that just reacts to whatever's happening to one that starts to build its own little map of the world. The real game changer here is that this agent can keep track of things even when it can't see them. It's like it has a mental model or a memory of how the world is supposed to work and how its own actions are changing things around it.
Think about your robot vacuum cleaner. It doesn't just bump into a wall and turn around randomly. No, it remembers the layout of the room, it knows where it's already been. So even if the leg of your couch is out of its direct line of sight, its internal map, its memory, knows it's still there.
All right, we've covered reacting and remembering. Let's kick it up a notch to level 2. This is where things get really interesting. Our agents are no longer just stuck in the past or the present. Now, they start thinking about the future.
And this is a huge leap forward. Instead of just asking, okay, what should I do right this second? A goal-based agent starts to ask, of all the things I could do, which one will actually get me closer to my goal? This is all about planning ahead. A self-driving car is the perfect way to think about this. Its main goal is to get you to your destination, right? So it doesn't just react to the brake lights of the car in front of it. It's constantly thinking about future possibilities. It's asking, if I make this left turn, will that get me closer to my destination? And if the answer is yes, that's the action it takes. Okay, but what if there's more than one way to get to that goal? This next upgrade is all about efficiency. It's the difference between just getting the job done and getting it done in the best possible way. So this next agent adds a whole other layer of smarts. It doesn't just look at whether an action achieves a goal. It assigns a utility score. You can think of it like a happiness score or a preference score to all the different outcomes. This is what lets it weigh its options and choose the absolute best path forward. Let's take a delivery drone, for example. Its goal is simple: deliver the package. But a utility-based drone is asking a lot more questions. Which route is the fastest? Which one is the safest? Which one uses the least amount of battery? It has to weigh all of those factors, speed, safety, energy, to pick the truly optimal route, not just any route. And that brings us to the top of our ladder, the final and frankly most powerful level. This is where AI gets really mind-blowing. We're talking about agents that aren't just programmed to be smart from the get-go. No, these agents can actually teach themselves how to get smarter over time. So, you know how all the other agents we've talked about are kind of static? Their logic is pretty much set in stone. Well, a learning agent is the complete opposite. It's dynamic. It tries something, gets feedback on whether that worked out or not, and then it updates its own internal strategy for the next attempt. It literally learns from its mistakes and gets better. And it does this through a fascinating little loop. First, the agent does something out in the world. Then, a part of it called the critic looks at the result and gives it feedback, like a coach. Based on that feedback, the learning element updates the playbook. And then, and this is the cool part, a problem generator chimes in and says, hey, why don't you try this new crazy thing you've never done before? That's how it explores and improves.
An AI chessbot is the poster child for this. Think about it. It plays a game and let's say it loses. The critic part sees that loss. Over thousands and thousands of games, the learning element starts to see patterns in what leads to a loss and what leads to a win, and it adjusts its strategy. And the problem generator? That's what pushes it to try wild, unconventional opening moves that a human might never think of, just to see what happens.
Wow, okay, so we've climbed this entire ladder, all the way from a basic thermostat to a chess grandmaster that can teach itself. Let's take a quick look back at this whole journey and think about what it means for our future.
When you look at it this way, this whole explainer has really been a story about adding one new superpower at a time. We started with the simple reflex agent, which could only react. Then we gave it a memory, so it could remember. After that, we gave it a purpose, so it could aim for a goal. We made it even smarter, so it could evaluate the best way to get there. And finally, the ultimate upgrade. We gave it the ability to learn, so it can constantly improve.
Now, out in the real world, you'll often see these different types of agents all working together in complex systems. But the most important thing to remember, for now at least, is that even the most advanced self-learning agents are at their absolute best when they're working with us. When there's a human in the loop, providing that essential guidance, context, and, common sense.
And that really leaves us with the big, final question to think about. As these agents get more and more powerful, it's not just about what they can do. The real question is how we're going to work with them. Are they here to replace us, or are they here to amplify us? And honestly, the answer to that is going to shape all of our futures.